Good evening, ladies and gents. As you're coming in, if you can see my screen and you can hear my voice, please raise your hand in the Zoom app or send something on the chat box so that I know we in business. If you can see my screen, thanks, Johannes. I know now we in business. Evening, ladies and gents. Njabulo Nsibande here. It is the 9th of February, 2022. Follow the traders series. I haven't been stopped out since last week, so I still hold all the positions I had last week into this week. So we're going to go straight into this week's chart. But before I get into that, there is a building wealth through trading and investing with Think Markets straight after this seminar on at 6:30. I will drop the, let me see if I can send the link in the chat. But I tweeted the link to the webinar on my Twitter account. So if you go to at VillageTrader on Twitter, you'll find a link to register for that webinar. So let's get straight into my charts. And guys, if you have questions, feel free to pop in the Q&A box or in the chat box. And if they're not time sensitive, I'll get them as in the end. And if they are, I will answer them on the go. So kicking it off with EPSA. So the banks are moving quite nicely. I did cover this on my stocks in play copy for last week and this week. The banks are running post the interest rate hikes. So we're in an interest rate hike environment, and I think we'll get another interest rate hike later this year. So that is good for the banks. So it moved into a higher box. I raised my stop cautiously. I intended on putting it 166, but I wanted to be a little bit cautious to give it a bit more room. So I raised it to 162 and added to my position, looking fairly good. I want to keep it at a distance for now, but I'm sure the market will give me better levels to another setup in this current box, or just wait for the close through that 183 entering the higher box. Hey, what's happening? No. Don't want to pressure the close. No. But that's what I want. Implants, the resource stocks also looking fairly nicely. The iron ore price is looking good. Gold is looking so. Oil price is looking very good. I think platinum as well, just looking quite good. So Implants is looking very nice, bouncing off the 50-day exponential moving average in a nice uptrend, backed by the golden cross there. Looking good. So I'm waiting for the breakthrough, that resistance level there, for the stock to make a new high close for a long while, and then I'll raise my stop loss to just below the doji. Let me zoom in a little bit. Just below that doji there. Hey, that's a bit too much. Just below that reversal doji there, around that 50-day exponential moving average, as it breaks through that 1913 level. What's this level? Yeah, 1915 odd. Oprah is asking all banks and most stocks were down today. I'm not 100% sure why, but I think the market was fairly flat. I saw the top 40 closed very green today. So I think most stocks actually went higher, and particularly the resources went higher. Banks are looking quite okay. I think they ran a bit too hard. There's some profit taking there, and maybe some short loss taking there as well. So we'll see over the next couple of days what's going to happen. No. That's what I want. Looking at Aspen, I think Aspen has found a bottom here. I'm not 100% sure what's holding the stock down, but I think it has found a bottom here around the 200-day exponential moving average. It's holding like a beast. So I'm going to wait for the stock to come back above the 50-day exponential moving average. But I do have a short-term target at 275. But as you guys know, I don't take my profits at target. But that 275 level is a nice place to hold a target. I'm hoping to get through that level with a risk-free position. Astro Foods came with a trading update. I think it was on Monday. The market really loved it. The stock just gapped. No, in fact, it was last week, I believe. Yeah, it was last week. So the stock gapped quite high, but found some resistance there at 186. Came back, but it broke. It broke again above that 186 level, and then it started to build a position there. So we'll see how the price action goes. So the range is a bit wide. So I will give the stock a bit of room to run by projecting this range upward. My computer is acting up today. Maybe I should get a new computer, but so yeah, I'll just be monitoring this. I'll project this range upward and wait for that upper line to be hit. To in fact, let's quickly do that. Jesus. There. So I'm going to add to my position around that 230 level, but I'm going to be just watching for now. British American Tobacco, the stock has been laying flat for a very long time. It stuck flat for a long time, but starting to move. I've been building this position nicely. Now I'm waiting for that 708 level. If you jump back to the weekly chart, you'll see it nicely. For the market to break that resistance there to add again to this position. I'm liking how British American Tobacco is moving at the moment. And the share code is BTI, not BAT as this would lead you to believe. Let's jump back to the daily charts. I do apologize, guys. What's happening now? Maybe let me just restart my ThinkTrader application. Just give me a moment, guys. Sorry about that. It's not responding. So let me just force quit it and give it another go. In the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the Q&A box. Oh boy. Give it a moment. It'll be back in just now. And do that. Oh, where was I? On BHP Group. So there was a corporate action on BHP Group. I think it was an amalgamation of the London listing and the JSE listing. So they put those two together, but they handled it themselves in the background. So there was nothing to worry about there. If you were holding BHP CFDs with Think Markets, you would have received an email updating you about that change. I think the share code has changed to BHI or BHG or something like that. Yeah. I'm really sorry, guys. Let's just give it a moment to. What is happening with my computer? Yeah. Maybe they removed the chart for now. Something's wrong with that BHP. I don't think it has been updated properly as yet. So I'm going to move just right along. Capitec came and held at 50-day exponential moving average, starting to move nicely, strongly again, up again today after that bullish engulfing candle engulfing that entire past week's candles looking very, very nicely. So I'm waiting for a close through the 215 2175 level to raise my stop to around the 2000 rand level on Capitec. So now I'm going to put my stop, a fair bit of distance away from the market when it comes to Capitec, because it has a wide range. Jesus. It has a wide range, so I want to put my stop loss some distance away. So on Richmond, um, so Richmond is having a tough time with that 50-day exponential moving average, but I'm still holding on to my position at the moment. They did come up with strong result. Luxury goods had a rather spectacular time the past financial year. So I'm waiting for a close through the 247. If we can break 247, I'll raise my stop loss and add to my position. I'm sure the my stop loss would be higher than that last entry point. On Discam, also looking nicely. Broke that resistance leg, came back to retest it, hold it with that bullish engulfing candle nicely. But I'm waiting for a close through that 39 rand level to raise my stop and add to my position, perhaps to just below that bullish engulfing candle there, and add to my position. I'm liking the way Discam is moving at the minute. Discovery. Discovery is looking nicely. It broke out of the, let me just zoom back into the weekly chart, out of a nice symmetrical triangle pattern. Out of that nice symmetrical triangle pattern with the golden cross there on the weekly chart. So I'm waiting for a close through that resistance level around that 166, and then I'll raise my stop loss ever so slightly, but I don't think I'll be adding to my position as yet. Unless, of course, the market gives me a decent place to play, a decent place to place my stop loss. But at the moment, I'm looking for, just below that 155 rand resistance, maybe 150 there's about to place my stop loss next. First rand is finding some resistance again there around that 54.50 level, 64.50 level. Is it 64? Yeah, 64.50 level, forming that giant head and shoulders pattern there, looking very, very nicely. So if it breaks through that level, I'll raise my stop to around that 61.20 and add to my position. It did look like it was breaking today, but it didn't close through this level. I wanted to close through, at which point then I'll raise my stop loss and add to my position. On Glencore, as I mentioned, resources stocks are looking fairly decent at the moment. Glencore is no different. We had a doji yesterday testing that that headline resistance there, but the doji didn't hold up because we had a higher close today. So that doji has been invalidated, but I'm still waiting for a close through the top line resistance there to raise my stop loss. I won't be adding to my position as yet, but I'll be looking to raise my stop loss to around that 82 rand level. Glencore, rather Implats. forming a nice ascending triangle pattern, holding that rising bottom support line there with a golden cross, looking very, very nicely. I'm waiting for a close through the 240 resistance level, at which point I'll raise my stop to around 213. Perhaps I should be raising my stop loss already to around the 213 level. But I'm liking the price at the moment on Implats. In fact, I will straight after this raise my stop loss to that 213 level. Investec is my second biggest holding on my portfolio. I think I'm sitting at about 25% of my portfolio sitting on Investec, looking very, very nicely, catching that nice trend. Once in a while you find a stock that has a nice smooth trend with no, deep drawdowns and the like. I'm liking the way Investec is moving at the moment. So it entered the higher box. I did raise my stop loss to 81. I wanted to give it a little bit of room. So I'm waiting for it to go into a higher box. Let me just duplicate that. Into that higher box. So I'm going to wait for the stock to go into that higher box and raise my stop loss to just below, maybe halfway through the current box, and add to my position. And because I'm already in strong profits in this trade, I'll be putting a bit more size on this trade. Maybe putting like an 8% risk or 10% risk. We'll see the profits when I raise my stop where I'm sitting. Liberty Holding finally broke through that 98 Rand level. I'm starting to run. I did raise my stop loss to around that 92, just below that 50-day exponential moving average. So there's the talks of Standard Bank delisting Liberty, but we shall wait and see. I'm not sure as to at what price that is happening, if ever it's still continuing. Mr. Price looking quite nicely, holding that 200-day and the 50-day exponential moving average. It came bitterly close from stopping me out there. Let me move that away. It came bitterly close from stopping me out, on those two candles there. So I'm waiting for a close through that 216 to start raising my stop loss on Mr. Price. I'm liking Mr. Price is my favorite on the clothing retailers. And MTN is my largest holding. I did tweet out, it's one of those trades, man. It feels good. I'm not gonna lie. It feels good to catch one of these, and to ride it properly. Nice trend. I've been adding to my position. I'm sitting at about 60% profit. So if my stops are hit, I'll end up with like a 60% profit on this trade. We're not outstanding dividends in the line. It looks like it's still running. It looks like the stock is still running. So I'm waiting for a close through that 200, and I'll show you why. 200. This trade is one of those top corner, highlight thrill because of that. So 200 was a strong support previously. So if it breaks above $200, I'll raise my stop loss to around that 186, 185 level, 180-ish level. Yeah, around 180. Let me jump back to the daily chart. I'll raise my stop to 180, to around 180, just below that ascending slope there, perhaps even higher if it closes through that 200. My forecast is that I think this 200 will hold for a while, and we'll see the stock create something like an ascending triangle pattern before breaking through that 200 200 rand level. Yeah, but MTN is a strong position at the moment. I think it's my amongst my favorite trades alongside that Distel trade, if you guys remember that one. Netbank also moving to a higher box as the banks were starting to move. They all move as a group yesterday. So it moved into a higher box. I raised my stop loss to that 187 Rand level. As it moves higher, I'll continue jogging my stop loss behind me, adding to my positions. Northern Plat, it's pretty much range bound, and I could be stopped out on this one, but I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna preempt any trade. We have a death cross here, but not a convincing one. So I'm gonna wait for the close through that 283 Rand level before I can rejiggle my interest on this stock. I'm still contemplating the idea of time stops, and I still haven't figured out how I'm going to implement it. I think I have to do a bit of data analysis on my past positions to see if I could have implemented a time stop on some of these positions. Remgro looking like a nice cup and handle pattern there. Struggling for a breakout. It's at the moment struggling for a breakout. However, I'm waiting for close through that 140 Rand level. If we can break 140, I'll raise my stop to that 130 and jog my stop as the stock is continuously moving higher. Rand Merchant. Rand Merchant came back to test the base of the current box. I'm thinking maybe if it takes out that high close there above that doji, I can raise my stop loss to around that 46 Rand level and add to my position. But I'm not going to rush it for now. I'm just going to watch and see how that pans out, because it can have quite a deep drawdown and take out a lower low and make a lower low while the trend is still going, like it did here. It did stop me out while the trend is still going. So I want to be a bit cautious and not have my stop loss too overly tight on Rand Merchant, just like on Capitec. Sasol, those who bought Sasol back in 2020 are just laughing straight to the bank at the moment. It's trading, strongly made a relative high. Looked like it was entering a higher box, but the market remembered. Markets have memory, man. Markets have memory. So I think some stale bulls. Let me jump back into a weekly chart. Some stale bulls who are long at that support finally were happy to just break even on Sasol. But I think once they step out, we'll see the stock chase those all-time highs around that 600 odd levels. The top 40 made a new high today, closing through at 70. Closing through at 70 above that ascending triangle pattern. But I'm trading this on the lazy system. Let me just put those back. So we had a buy trigger there, which confirmed there, and then I started building that position there. My stop loss is a close below that 60-day exponential moving average. So as long as the stock is, as long as this ETF is trading above that 30-day exponential moving average, we're all good. If it reverts back to that 50-day If it reverts back to that 15-day exponential moving average, I will, I'll look to add again to this position. So it shows signs that our market is quite healthy when our top 40 index is making all-time highs. ShopRite, it moved into. Let me just remove these, put those back. Hey, come back. So I raised my stop to just below that 50-day exponential moving average. I want to give it a bit of room. So looking quite nicely. I'll be watching the price action as it enters this higher box. I'm like, again, ShopRite is my preferred of the food retailers. Standard Bank. Standard Bank is looking quite nicely, but I'm waiting for close through that 160 price, and I'm seeing that 156 is holding like a beast. But for now, I'm watching for that 160. But if that 156 continues to hold, I will raise my stop on the break of 160 and add to my position with a stop loss around that 146 rand level. Transaction capital. You had a nice gap and drive pattern today, gapping just straight back above that 50-day exponential moving average. So if we can close through that 46 rand level, raise my stop ever so slightly to that 42 rand level, reducing my risk just a little bit. The level that I'm waiting for is a new high close through 50 rand and some change. Truewords, have a look see at Truewords. Also holding that 50-day exponential moving average after that golden cross. But I'm waiting for close through that 61 rand level. This 60 rand level, I'm just watching it as precaution. But if we can close through that 61 rand level, I'll raise my stop to around 54, just below this 50-day exponential moving average. And then I'll wait for that 67 rand to then add to this position. And last but not least is Vodacom. I saw they lost the case of that please call me a battle with the inventor. The court's ordering, I think, 5% of revenue. It was an interesting story. And anyways, on Vodacom, it did have a gap and drive after bouncing off that 200-day exponential moving average. So I'm waiting for close through 150. If we can get it close above 150, I'll raise my stop to 142, just below those lows there, and then add to this position. That's all I have for this week. Thank you guys for holding me. I do apologize for my computer acting up. I will get a different computer for next week's session. If you guys don't have questions, I'm going to park it here. The video will be up on YouTube in a couple of hours. And remember, guys, to join Think Markets, we slightly overlap with time. To join Think Markets on the Create Wealth Through Trading and Investing webinars, the link is on my Twitter timeline, so you can go check it out there. Otherwise, guys, thank you for hanging. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm not seeing questions coming in. Otherwise, I'm going to park it here. Thank you guys for hanging. We'll do this again next week. Cheers.